absolute sudden death. You're sitting on Shopify Rebellion Black's map pick. You know they're going to get aggressive. You know they're going to be willing to fight. Fair says, I'm going to be just as willing to fight you as you are, and you better be ready for it. The question is, after all that fighting that Shopify had to go through and all those times that Blue Water's players did manage to get those clutches, is Shopify ready for those fights this map?
Well, see what we get. It's going to be Blue Water on the offense. And, I mean, again, it's not the first time we've ever seen ISO on this map, so I think we're all assuming how we know this is going to go. And I think it does just put a lot of pressure on the Fair. Like, you got to be good on the entry. Got to have it. And we'll see exactly how they want to cook that up. I think the interesting thing about this composition, though, is, like, you know, one of the things I feel like we've seen teams deter away from playing the ISO is largely due to the power that Breach Tejo have. Like, doesn't matter if you have a shield that stops a bullet. If you're concussed and blown up by salvos, it doesn't matter. So there is a level of, like, timing the execute for Blue Water versus not being hit by all this incoming utility that you're going to be getting from Shopify.
Yeah, a lot of ways to be able to trap this Blue Water squad on the attack if Shopify is able to get as active in the pre-plan as they were last half, then should be able to seal a lot of these rounds up before Blue Water even gets on site. No intel given away just yet, though. Big creep up to the B door where this first trap wire is going to be land.
Not come through. Monzi trying to combine. Yeah, and that's the thing. I was going to say, Fair will actually does make good on the shield. But you get stunned up like that, it can sometimes be difficult to dance with. But Monzi for first blood. Check from paint. Doesn't see anything through long. Does he get a scout out of what's happening through garage, though? Another shoulder comes through, some damage there, and no kills for SRB's defense, and that'll be an easy plan for Blue Water.
Something important to note, that if that kill didn't come through for Fair, if Fair didn't get that second shield, he would have died to the salvos. They would have gotten another proc on him and killed him before the rest of Blue Water could have gotten on site. Preemptive engagement not going the way of Shopify. Post-emptive not either. That was a nice early clear of the B site that went their way. With those pistols, it's definitely a lot more in the cards with how much they have to offer in the solo, particularly with Fair. But it's a perfect time to talk about Bob's ability to make that distance while Fair gets those close range fights in, because she's already made quite a bit and is at the top of the leaderboard thanks to those 2 extension kills on this Yoru that she has been leaning into just a tiny bit for FlyQuest stretch. She's been doing pretty dang good over there.
Yeah, that's for sure. We'll see more game changers soon. Soon to you.
Yes.
Recon Dart trying to get over to try to stop say anything from where BCJ was positioned, but instead we get the first contact down C long with the Outlaw to connect. No immediate commitment here, even though Shopify Rebellion do still have 3 members here. There is the check after the fault line. A rundown comes through. Blue Water are aware of that. Don't want to get caught. Throw your traps. Get the heck out of there. And move your way into A, which is wide open.
Yeah, waltz right in. After everything else is exhausted. Still, though. Couple bag checks on the way. That Shopify will fall right into.
Spike planted.
Again, getting on top of it early. Negating even the option. Very clean so far from Blue to build themselves up on this attack half. They'd really like to with how explosive Shopify's is.
Ain't that the truth? Okay, so good start. True bonus coming through with the falls around there. Weapons, of course, going to be purchased up for Shopify, but it does include 2 Guardians with the full armor. Knowing that you've got the Outlaw in play, you have to make that sacrifice. So you don't get 1 tap, of course. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this. You all know it. But I think the thing is, like, so far so good in terms of Blue Water, like, not getting caught on any trap plays first and foremost, which maybe just leans towards the fact that, like, Shopify Rebellion just don't want to play that kind of game. Like, we didn't see it at all in map 1. We're not seeing it all here. Very reactionary from SRB, and Blue Water are capitalizing early.
Monsi, first peek out of the B door, and now Blue Water will make themselves an audience. Here in the courtyard, gonna try and save guns, save face, save themselves a piece of this A site that'll be a little more abandoned, but BCJ, nice little 2-step to slow them down. Force this setup.
Well, still kind of feeling it out a little bit. Shock Dart won't get all the way to the back of the site. Zeke not going to commit the other at the moment. The Blue Water maybe just trying to get into B. You do have Spaz in sight on the gong. You also have Pancakes watching the cross. That will work. Decoy. A mere inconvenience. As it's all down to Zeke trying to hold this post plant. I'm trying to go for the long route. Nope, can't do that. And there's going to be a walk down here from Paint. Wow, what a snap.
Hey.
That's one that gets, you know, the heart rate going a little bit if you're Paint. Like, oh, okay, I'm that guy. All right, sounds good.
Well, see, that's, I mean, I think to your point of how Shopify tried to approach the pistol and a decent chunk of that previous map is still coming off of that, you know, top of the podium spot from the previous split with a lot of these top 8 teams previously, you know, a very exclusive club of teams at the very top has been able to kind of just I'm better their way through a lot of the fights and the util swings. But here in this stage, it's come up time and time again where teams are like, are you better though? Like every time. And it's been quite the hurdle for some of these teams to just hop over. That'll definitely, that'll get your heart rate pumping for sure if you're Paint, which, let's see how active he gets now that the guns are equalized. Bob on the op though, I won't pay attention to that.
Yeah, not what you would expect, I think, just with this double duelist setup.
Found them.
Ooh, good reveal onto Pancakes. That will get some free garage control. Pain thinking about it. Oh, and the fault line assists. Really well done. So that'll be Pancakes for first blood. And now all of a sudden this offense feels, you know, very soft just due to the fact that you've got an operator in play. Like if you're sitting as the defense, you know, you're not going to know it's here, but really at this point, you just don't overpeak anything. B becoming a threat though may still force a couple of the contact plays, and Fireball outside, sees the barrel, sees the brim of the hat, finds the headshot, and now numbers are the Blue Otter.
Shopify were able to corral Blue Otter into only one option, but that option was taken with so much.
Oof.
Great aim. Fair. Getting away with a whole lot there on the B creep. There's always going to be one option left when it comes to Haven, and Blue Water clearly going to put the pedal to the metal when they recognize that it's the only one they have at any given moment. Keeping 2 upstairs, they get their chunk, say their piece, and Blue Water carve out the C site of the map that time around. Well played by them, Shopify. A great enabling in the early round there to get Monty implanted. Again, massive control of the A site. That's what forced this bottlenose, but these opening chokes by Fair and Fireball really opened the map up for Blue Water.
Weapons will be purchased here for Shopify Rebellion, but some regenerative armors and light armors will be the cost for that.
Wait a moment.
Defense continuing to feel pressure through garage. Pancakes will see 2. He does have a couple of very strange traps set up here. That one in particular on the top of the door, just make sure, I don't know what. But Fair is going to sneak on into the site. Spike will follow up, and you still have Zoe watching this garage window, which very well may be under threat. Fair will follow up, trying to use the shield to his advantage, and that works out nicely. So again, the ISO finding value here early.
And with that suppress tossed forward, that catches so many members of Shopify. They'll all be stunted beyond this smoke on the link. Armageddon now ready to go, and here comes the push.
Well, Paige shut down, kill contract is out, and the defense is just completely stuck. Although Monzi does win the 1v1 inside the alt. So now you can try to reform here. Not a lot in terms of utility, though, to break your way back into the site, into the corner. Zeke will find 2. Now it's just down to Monzi, and a late teleport from Zostal will avoid the line of sight and allow Blue Otter to capitalize for a 4th.
More than enough to throw at things here again after Fair gets those steps forward. Exactly what you're asking of him on this map. To be the tip of that spear just about every single time. So fights have to be taken with a lot of hindrance from the rest of the team when it comes down to these starts and pre-plants over in the courtyard in particular. Having Fair peek out to go for that implant onto the B side has been really difficult, and already he'll be the first one with the shield up. Much faster gun down the B door for him and Zoe this time around.
Well, quick hit on the way, and wow, Fair is just not losing gunfights right now. His opening firsts have been great for the side of Blue Otter. Trade is out though, so we go 4v4. Paint still does not have the overdrive ready to go. So it's just down to what you can find with pistols for the most part. But Spaz inside the site has an angle, lots of damage, but can't find the kill. Can you follow up on this? Spaz still playing inside. Nice shock dart coming through. Zeke trying to make this really just be on his own, but he's got help. Bob gets there, hits the close shot, and Blue Water quickly up 5-1.
Respectfully close round, considering the Shopify didn't have a whole lot to offer there. They were stuck up on that B site, and Blue Water willing to take the fight a little preemptively there. And so it leads to something a little scrappier than I think Blue Water would like, but they've been built up quite well, so they're able to get away with that, and they prefer to force Shopify to play that extra bit reactively, and a little scared at this point with how much they've been able to just get bludgeoned outside of this C site in particular. Timeout justifiably called because it's really hard to hold this, especially when Bob is staring down your gullet the whole time with the operator on the lane. So it's all going to be about re-invading those sites that Blue Water has been able to poke and prod at, find the weak point, and just gun it down. Is the speed at which they've been able to take over these sites that Shopify has to let go of in order to go for the overwhelming map control in the long run has been, frankly, blistering. They've gotten on, they've said their piece, they've done what they needed to do, and then the fight's almost already decided.
Yeah, it just goes to show again, like, this is now, I can say with some conviction, like, you've got now a map in almost a half worth of Shopify Rebellion just not showing any eagerness to play for anything off the get-go. Like, it is very reactive from them. They haven't really gotten aggressive through A main at all. They haven't even poked out even in towards sewers. And outside of a little bit of a shoulder peek on pistols through C long, we just have not seen them trying to hunt for information. It's very reactive, and it has not worked for them. This time, Paint will try to go op for op by holding this 1 pixel angle on A long. But Bear, no, does not have the shield up, so he will fall. A little bit of panic there from Paint, not the smoothest utility from a Neon we've seen, but is fine for a 5v4.
Probably panicking after realizing that he killed the ISO. Bear is not going to make that mistake again.
Here.
Conditioning that you toss up the shield on any old peak. Just got to do that once you brandish that operator. But again, that pressure on that A site to make sure that Paint's potential death doesn't go unchallenged opens up the C site again. So Blue Water gonna just barrel it down there. Fun plant by Zoe. It won't get anything done. That is very big.
Yeah, because if you find that pick, if you're Zoe, that's no rolling thunder, which is essentially what Shopify are banking on for this retake. They won't need it now, though. They've got numbers. At least they shouldn't use it now. They've got numbers. Bob would have to snap, connect on to probably 2 to have a chance at this. Misses the first. Stun is out. Zeke only gets 1. And yeah, Bob is just going to play through long with the op. And Paint will be right there to try to match it. Monzi just going to hold it. No worries here. And Shopify will get a key second round. The eco will also start to build up a little bit for the defense, while Blue Otter are now looking down a Hunter's Fury and maybe a Dimensional Drift for the first time here soon.
But still stalwart. Still, zero need or want to initiate or start things first. If anything, they leaned back even further in the recliner by giving Paint that operator, which he's going to stick to this round as well. Not sure where he's going to get inserted this time around, because at this point, I mean, Blue Water are going to completely rethink how they approach things with Fair's shield on these pushes, but he's just going to gut it down sewer.
Yeah, at least initially. ISO wall getting some A-long control. Now that they know that Paint has an operator in play, Hunters are going to get called out. That's over towards the site, though. So you have to know of the potential threat that could be over towards sewer side. Bob able to connect. That's on sewers. Rolling Thunder's already been called, and Monzi's barely gotten into sight. Fair going to still peek, even while Concussed will take 2 with them. Spike not on site yet, though, and both Cyphers, very well may find each other on this lurk. Pancake with a check, finds the win. Still doable. 2v3, though, post-plant.
I'll try and catch in Spaz early. He's already in front of this to try and farm some stuff out. Pancake's meeting him here. Attempted retake is Bob with this op early on to force the first peek out, and now the double up for Spaz. Pancakes has to react quickly. We'll grab one from on high, but forced to drop down. He's got to double up on the peaks and just can't get that done. Keeping it tidy is Blue Water here, who do their homework up that A lane, takes a lot of the ISO util to shield outside of the moving wall. But if it's that committal, if Blue Water's going to be setting up shop there, doesn't matter, especially if you're able to take care of paint without losing a body.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations, like, that is such a bold peek from Fair. But the power of the ISO, again, coming through, just while stunned at the end of that Rolling Thunder, you're able to connect before the defense can snap onto you. I think it's also important the fact that you get that first blood down through sewer. That just opens up the eyes of Blue Otter completely onto the back of the site. Now, yeah, you've had Dimensional Drift to play with. So Bob will take a rifle this time. Zoe will have the op.
It's you and me.
And yeah, kill contract will come through. That will pull in the 1v1 on the picture-in-picture. Fair able to win that one with ease. And that will lead to an immediate 5v4 post plant. But here we go again with the Neon antics. 4v4. Stun gonna come through. Paint looking to move quickly. Decent damage, but doesn't clear the close corner. And Fireball, yeah, is just gonna lock this one down completely. No chance for Monzi.
Can't be left unsaid how much of a raid boss Paint has had to be on Haven defense for Shopify in order to give them as solid a record as it is. And if Blue Otter is able to continuously deny him, as they have these past 2 rounds, in which Paint did try to become that tank, then a lot of the rest of this exec is pretty by the book for Blue Otter. They're doing a lot of the things that you see other teams do. You are seeing the blueprints that these guys have written oh so well. Far from the fragmented Pearl before. Does that translate to the defensive half? It depends on the proactivity. Again,
yeah, exactly.
As slow as Shopify has been to meet these fights, does Blue Otter do the same thing with this ISO Yoro duelist core that they've got?
Yeah, there hasn't been a response at all for Shopify, honestly. And I think that's concerning. You know, looking at how Shopify have played, again, just no contact off the initial 30, 45 seconds. It's all been reactive defense. And you really don't have an option here because you've got 2 Buckies and a Vandal. 2 Vandals, rather. But it's just odd to see Shopify Rebellion play this composition and not have any sign of aggression at all down A long, or really even into sewers.
Already pretty dried up. You've condensed into this B site that they know Blue Water have been trying to twist the knife into. Again, such a ballsy first move from Paint, but there's the proactivity you're looking for on the gun diff round. Paint does not have the gun diff and is good for the one. Rest of Blue Water meet the makers, and they'll come up with the advantage, at least for now. Now that Cypher ultimate, the guarantee position. Fair still wins the fight, and that's any chance gone this round.
Yeah, Silver feels that way. Monzi would have to be a hero right here, right now. Does catch Fair, but there's no exit. Fireball on the lurk will connect. Spike will be planted by Zeke, and VCJ's got nowhere to go. Fireball's really stepped up nicely, I would say, since the first half of the first map. Just kind of being avoided largely on Pearl. But so far, the last 2 halves of gameplay action, been really solid.
Yeah, working with this composition where Bob is the one that's going to be playing in the extremities, and of course, post ping through smoke meta, Cyphers do have to be a little more active on the site. Letting these fraggers take that sentinel position has been a fun way to let them stretch their wings in these post plants, and Fireball's been quite comfortable just holding up on that corner and letting the bullets fly. Doing a really consistent job so far of making sure that whatever Shopify has to offer, which again, they're trying to make it a lot, but it really doesn't feel like much at the end of the day. He just burns through it. Very consistent aimer. Just as all of these Blue Water players are. Again, they made top 8 previously. They have been continuing to bust their ass here in the Swiss stage and make these matchups as close as can be. Seems like this time around against those top dogs in SRB, it'll be no different. On the verge of really demolishing this half.
This timeout feels about 4 rounds too late. You have won against the bonus and 1 gun round if you're Shopify Rebellion. Feels a little late. But see what they can try to muster here in the last 2. 8-4, then plus a pistol would give us essentially the same ideas that we had seen in map number 1 from Blue Water's perspective. And this is what, like, again, like, why have we not seen that opening, it doesn't really make much of a difference. You just throw a contingency down and you just get fair into the mix. But I feel like this has been a little bit too free. Blue will catch one member over on the backside of the site, but not much to be done with that as Pancakes is still planted pretty firmly behind a spy camp.
Trying to see if that eggs on any other member of Shopify to head on over to the A site. But after that time's allotted, they'll take the fight. See what they come up against.
Good first.
It is still Pancakes, so they're jumping on. That's one fight down. He'll step back into the smoke, actually, and let the rest of Blue step on for now.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the neural tech to tick again, and that's actually some really good damage onto Fireball. Spike will be planted, though. Post plant could be made safe by the Hunter's Fury, which Zeke has backed up in towards A main. Defense doesn't really have much to work with outside of basic utility. Bob connects with the operator. So again, this Hunter's Fury, the big key here for this post plant. Here comes the swing. Paint can't connect a single shot. Oh, but there's the follow-up. That will work. 3 straight eliminations all in quick succession. And Shopify Rebellion will get their third.
Great shipping done to make that retake pretty trivial. Nice in tow with the Cypher ultimate from Pancakes to be able to, again, have that safety of being able to play for the long game a little bit. So at the end of the day, Shopify will build themselves up to a potential 4-8 half, something they can absolutely salvage. If they can take this round away, which they're going to key themselves up back to the kit that they've been wanting to work with. Paint once again on the operator. But Blue Water do have this Hunter's Fury to be able to play with to try and hunt someone down. Fair. One orb away from the contract as well to isolate Shopify. They could become as fragmented, as chokeable at a moment's notice.
Hunter's Fury out early here. The offense, Z trying to put some pressure over towards A. But you've got to walk down from Spaz for the first time. Steltrum to clear out long. The defense can really rely on Monzi to rotate early over to C. Pancakes will, again, just be offering to give this site up. And it's going to be onto a full retake. You got the Armageddon this time, though. That's the big difference maker here for Shopify. And they get a first one from Payne. Maybe more, and yeah, he connects for 2. And in round 12, yep, you have Spaz working on C long. You wait for him to clear, and then you just throw an Armageddon down. You just reach out into the site. Zeke is the only thing that could possibly stop this, and that first is good. But no, you're not going to be able to hold on to the site itself. Zeke is stuck. Flashes are good, and SRB will get 2 in a row. Take it to an 8-4 half as we swap.
Fun little speed run of the first half of that round. A good Hunter's Fury from Zeke to keep a lot of the action over on the A side as Blue Water walks up. But with that cam from Pancakes, they get the intel early. They dash back over. And Pancakes with that double kill from the garage window, forcing Blue Water to, again, play solely from sight and the lane. Very predictable positions at this point in the map. Shopify play into that beautifully. Just in time for us to swap sides, just in time for us to see just how foot to the floor this attack half is going to be for Shopify Rebellion Black. They're back in their comfort zone. By all accounts, will they work with it as well as the fans expect them to? Or do we go to 3? Do we go to Ascent?
Yeah. A lot riding on this pistol. And again, it does feel like when we've seen this composition of the past for Blue Water, it tends to be a little bit less effective defensively. And, well, Fair was hoping for a one-on-one contact to try to take something away, but instead meets 4 members of Shopify. Zeke just trying to get some sort of a sound cue. Will have a little bit of help from the dark cover plus the paranoia, but how about this? This is such a bold play from Fireball, and it may work out perfectly. In fact, it very well be a round-winning setup, but no, Monzi too aware of it, deals with it, and now you can join Pancakes on site.
He's played these games before, and so is Fireball. Every check done as they make that mad dash over to C site. They recognize the kind of speed that Blue Water can come with as well. There's not enough to make it back to C in time for this spike to go down, and the spam will not do that much.
Well, this crunch is going to have to work out perfectly. Trap deleted. Monzi will be responsible for this. Everyone else will, again, just keep their eyes on the choke points up front. Easy for the first. Zoe, only an angle for a moment. And now Shopify have just stacked onto site, and it's going to make this very difficult for Blue Water to break back in. Bob, the last one left, 1v4, not a lot of time. Will just sacrifice their lives to the spike exploding.
You just hand yourself over to this after, again, unable to make a dent. Great awareness from Shopify Rebellion that whole time. The full-blown push to take care of Fair outside the smoke, and then double back after realizing how much time Blue Waters had to get over to the A site. You understand that you can win that race back over to C. You still check for fireball ops. No notes here on the pistol round for Shopify's attack. Exactly what you want to look for them to be able to take this map back, make that climb back up. Still so much in the cards, though. Fair considering grabbing a sniper, but he will alleviate.
Same idea here from Fair. That works, though. Yep.
Cutting through.
So now you've got numbers, and these sheriffs can connect. Pancakes take some damage to the wall. This makes this extremely doable. And Bob is going to actually sneak forward down grass. Zeke seen on the shoulders, but this is everything. And no, the gate crash will have Blue Otter kind of stacking towards A. No commitment again, though, from Shopify, just kind of playing with their food a little bit here.
Here comes Fireball. The trap wire is going to be ready for him this time, though. So he'll just bear witness. Be an audio cue to this stealth drone. BCJ manual check at the B site that they'll creep into. Fair check number 2. It's like he's walking through a busy sidewalk. He's like, "Excuse me, pardon me, just try to squeeze through."
Hey, don't mind me.
30 seconds left.
But here comes the play. Paranoia across the site. Blue Water able to take down one more. Actually, a follow-up from Zoe is great. And then you've got Fair in the mix. So it's just down to Spaz with a stinger off the reload. Sprays down another in the top corner. Oh, now to the 1v1. It's Fireball with the Sheriff versus Spaz with the stinger. Contact is there, but Fireball connects and saves the round from what would be a 1v4 from Spaz.
A backyard brawl that Blue Water come out on top of.
Weapon here.
And it still comes down to a mountainous gun diff that you have to take care of.
And then we will die.
At the end of the day, though, that's a perfect execution from Blue Water after Shopify get a little too spooked again on the initial push. Double back into the B site. And the damage is done from there. Spaz putting up a hell of a fight with this stinger, but Fireball's locked and loaded. Finally getting that lurk somewhere. And Blue Water, once again, the momentum is all theirs on the verge of double digits and no doubt taking us to Ascent here if all goes well.
Well, Salvo clears out Bob's position inside a garage, quickly taken by BCJ. Spam shots, though, still landing. Goodness gracious. And Shopify find themselves in a bit of trouble. Zeke just waiting for contact, and we'll get a visual cue onto at least one. Gate crash sent back over towards the A side of the map for the quick rotation from the Yoru. But again, this is the same. This feels like just different map, but same game plan for Shopify. Just keep stretching. And yeah, I think Fair may have caught a couple of the footstep sounds. And so now Fireball's aware that he should keep his gun up and only finds the opener. That's going to be a gun collected.
It's another mad dash, though, and you bet your bottom dollar whoever from Blue Water is here is going to react to it. It's going to be the guy that they want to do everything for Blue Water this round. Fair steps out. Fair dies pretty dang quickly, and that's a lot of individual responsibility placed on each member of Blue Water. Swiftly collapses and puts us right back in a spot where Shopify can take the wheel again.
Yeah, I see the idea right there from Blue Water. You call out the double tap. Fair's the one who's going to try to get everyone to start looking at him. But when he misses out on the opportunity to get the win over towards Logs, his teammates just don't have the ability to work their way in. And there may have been a little bit of miscommunication on timing as well, because there really wasn't a lot of supply of utility to help Fair out to try to keep him safe from that left cross. So he gets blindsided, and then, no reason for Shopify to turn their heads. So everyone else just gets melted. But a decent idea from Blue Water. Here we go. Quick fault line, followed up by relay bolt, and there's nowhere to go. Whoa. for Bob, but Zeke with a classic response. This game has been just full of hijinks and hilarity. Pancake's gonna get a 1v1 here with Fireball. Cyber Cage, yeah, will deter a touch. Fair gets caught picking orbs though. And now we just kind of keep our eye on what does Zoe want to do for timing, and will we actually get a Cypher 1v1 on the other side of the map?
There's the commitment and the stick from Payne. Once again, chipping away. Preventing any member of Blue Water from getting too antsy. Still hanging out closer to the T doors. 40 seconds on the clock. Lot to play with to hold on to all of your guns here, just to fully snowball what will be a very long attack half here.
Yeah, it feels like, that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
30 seconds left.
If Shopify is going to continue getting stopgapped like they have been on these A and C doors, then we are going to be here for quite a while, because Blue Water, they've done a great job of really threatening these first bloods before Shopify get a word in edgewise.
It just, I don't want to like come across as like too critical here, but it just feels too cautious from Shopify Rebellion. Like
way too critical.
You've got,
sorry,
that's
man.
Fine. That's fine. But like you've got like a breach Tejo. Like you should be breaking down these sites easy.
Yeah, you should.
And it just doesn't really feel like they've been able to find that kind of commitment, and that's just not part of their playbook, which, you know, again, you can't, you know, come across too harshly, because right now it seems to be working, but it just feels odd just looking at this composition and seeing it take until the last 15 seconds.
One enemy remaining.
We are on the advent of a switch in the meta, of course, with the new match coming into playoffs. The teams that are kind of straggling and catching up in this Swiss bracket are forced to kind of juggle two game plans. Of course, one is the priority here, and Shopify continuing to encapsulate that with this Tejo Breach core that they're running. So, I mean, meeting these individual fights halfway for Blue Water, they're going to be happening. Zostal is going to be using his TP ult early to grab intel on where SRB is stacked. I mean, Blue Water, they're going to try to make some headway as early as possible every time. And so, who do you put on to take that fight? Do you have Paint continue to just be the front of the death ball and say, hey, can you make sure that you can swing off of us properly and just keep the advantage going? Or do you start having him lurk and go for these extremity kills while the rest of your team has that more reliable util to just dump onto a site as they go, sort of like they did in that pistol? It is really tough to find a role for each of these players right now, despite the fact that individually that they are looking fantastic.
One enemy remains.
All right, we'll see how things kind of unfold now as we get back to full weapons pretty much across the board. Should be something for Bob to work with. And I guess there is a level of like, you have to be somewhat cautious if you're Shopify Rebellion, because Neon and Decipher, like, lol. But there is like, I don't know, like I feel like they've gotten good info on where Fireball is. Shadows. Maybe not super quickly, but I feel like they get good intel on like what they're dealing with early. So I don't know. We'll kind of see if this mind game continues to develop and we get like a 40 game of chess here. Or is it like Shopify's trying to play chess while Blue Water's playing checkers? Like it's kind of hard to tell like which it is.
I will say Shopify are trying to take advantage of the lack of flushing that Blue Water is able to do. No Tejo, and your Sova's playing from a distance, so you're able to rest in these corners a lot more consistently. Again, that'll slow the game down a decent bit, but it also allows you to check around for these trap wires a little more passively unless Fireball steps out and starts peeking you. Now Pancakes is going to get sprayed through and die. Whoopsie.
But again, we know where Fireball is, so we should just be utility bombing A and getting into sight. And we're not even using Fault Line. We're not throwing down Dark Covers. We're not throwing down Paranoia. This just does not feel like the Shopify Rebellion Black from last stage. I don't know what it is, because now you got the Neural Theft to come through. Defense is trying to commit to it.
Breaking them.
Hunter's Fury is out.
30 seconds left.
Missing, though. Last one down towards Hell also misses. And BCJ follows up. Oh, goodness. Not like this. Nice one from Fair. Resets the shield, not once but twice. Kill contract will come through. BCJ gets one with the Armageddon. It's just down to the 1v1 inside the kill contract. First shot there, and Fair takes down 3 to secure the round for Blue Otter.
Really got to give credit to BCJ for trying to get on top of that so quickly. The Armageddon. Such a knee-jerk reaction that he's able to get away with there. But the lack of speed that Shopify came with in the beginning of that push. A 3v4 that Fair can just choke slam on the retake. I mean, there are so many things that Blue Otter could have offered after that push from Fair could have failed. There are so many things in which Shopify still have to clean out of Blue Otter at this point. And they're at 10. Zo on the run back after the salvos will flush him away. This is a bit of activity early on in Garage.
Love this.
But it'll have Fair creep up now. Fireball is no longer the lurker. It's that ISO that's been fragging out so heavily.
And the paranoia just puts Paint into this moment of kind of dire desperation. Fair now back in the mix once again. Resets the shield, and Fair is getting it done themselves. Looking good for 11 here for Blue Otter. And Fair's not done. Could be good for the full 5-man ace. Pancakes avoids him though. Fair's hunting for it. We'll see the spike, but we'll not find Pancakes.
He's like, please, anyone but Fair. On the Outlaw too. Oh man. Masterclass walk up from Fair. After you saw that one glimmer of activity from Shopify, immediately it's going to be either that static sentinel that's already set up all the util, or that static duelist that is the immovable object. Insane run from this ISO to give Blue Otter a quick step ladder to 12. BCJ's on the Odin, baby.
Why not? Just send it. Send it full on out if you're Shopify Rebellion. And Blue Otter are going to be like, no way. Well, yeah, way. BCJ for Odin, why not? Come to know it. Some of us have come to love it. But again, it's just look at the difference in the map again, how the defense is playing. Like Blue Otter just continue to take away space for free. And it's just forcing Shopify Rebellion to have to play off of like one angle. And they're not hitting it the way that you would expect them to with the Tejo breach.
Still trying to pour a lot of elbow grease into this B side, really pressure Fair out of using a bit more. But the double tap hasn't even been proc. So, I mean, Fair has every reason to just step back out into this as the rest of Shopify try to make some headway elsewhere. They don't. And now Fair's back up in the courtyard. Steps are heard. Guns aren't out. Fair will get 2 free kills.
What are we doing? Like, what are we doing if you're Shopify? It's just, there's too much space on the map being given away for free. And that's just kind of how this map has gone.
30 seconds
I don't know, man. This has been a very frustrating watch if you're a Shopify Rebellion fan. I mean, it's just, they're giving away the map for free and they're stuck at grass. And then these late walkdowns for Fair are just free checks.
It's a whimper of an attack right now. It's just like there's so little to offer when you know Shopify could be taking these space trades and be making a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah.
That last round we saw Monsi try to fault line Fair into Paint going for the slide, and instead of like gunning it to B site to try to just pile drive this ISO that's all by himself and trying to control the doors with Spaz's smokes, Paint walks forward 2 more steps and then they go back to playing neutral. There has just been such a lack of decision making when Blue Otter has taken those windows of opportunity and opened them up massively. Now it's Bob that's going to be walking up, making a mile out of this up to the steps as Paint will get that first frag. There, refrag on the kill contract, and Bob crept up. There's the kill.
It's just too much map given away. Too much map given away again. And that's just another one of those moments where, like, for Shopify, you have the overdrive out, so you play aggressively into A and you get in there, but we're not in positions to stop the walkdowns at mid. I just, Maybe there's something that I'm missing here, but this just feels a little too easy right now for Blue Otter, especially in a map pick that coming out of Shopify Rebellion's bank. Yeah, Pain stuck.
One enemy remaining.
Nowhere to go. That's going to do it.
Down A.
Unless Pancakes can 1v4 with just the Guardian at the moment. Teleport across. Pop flashes through. We're going to double swing this. Yeah, sure feels like it. Pancakes gets the first, though.
30 seconds
Here
left.
comes help down long.
Last player
Pancakes
standing.
gets the read.
Come on.
Surely not like this. Oh, 1v4 for Pancakes. And somehow, some way, that's how Shopify Rebellion went around.
Oh, limitless aura from that guy. Just never stops. That's my man, Pancakes, man. On the Guardian, no less. Blue Otter taking every precaution for that final fight after everything else was so decided. After Bob got to walk up for free. After Zostal got to walk up for free after that. It looked like a wash. But one Pancake stands between Blue Otter and victory. And we'll have to do it at least one more time here on the defense.
This is better. Okay, how about some A-long pressure? We've got spy cams and stuff over towards mid to stop any walk down through grass. Rolling Thunder opens up the site. Dimensional Drift is at the ready for Blue Otter. Spam shot from Bob, not gonna hit. Do you pop the ult here? Yes, you do. Checks, find one at hell. Follow up, looking to come back on in with the owl drone right there. Contingency wall also in play. Paint can't get back to safety. Spaz is still known in the back line, but they're able to find one before Fireball gets the trade. 3v4 on the site. Pancake still holding. Salvo out late. Nice shots from Pancakes, but completely flanked out as Zoe was able to find him from the side. There's the fault line. No more utility for BCJ after this salvo. Fireball still on, gets it to halfway, trying to stick for it. BCJ gets two, but Fireball gets the defuse before the salvo gets down. Oh, mercy.
It's all about the margins. And Blue Water continues to play in between them. Shopify Rebellion's moments of weakness have felt like eons at this point. And with Haven broken open